Guess who's back? It's Bubba G. And Bubba G is teaching Bible basics for all those who want to know, but especially those 10 and under, because you must learn. In the last video, we were taking a look at Jesus Christ. Yes, Jesus. Remember, the Bible said he was the Word. In the beginning with God. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. Then that Word became a man. And they named him Jesus. But also remember, we talked about John. Said a man came from God named John. So, he was not the one, but he came to prepare the way for the one. So in this video, we're going to look at who John was. So where you at, Bubba G? I'm in the Gospel according to Luke, chapter 1, verse 5. Ready? Here we go. During the time when Herod was king of Judea, there was a priest named Zachariah who belonged to the priestly order of Abijah. His wife's name was Elizabeth. She also belonged to a priestly family. They both lived good lives in God's sight and obeyed fully all the Lord's laws and commands. They had no children because Elizabeth could not have any. And she and Zachariah were both very old. So they couldn't have kids. Didn't it say that? They had no, because they could not have any. And they were old. So they can't have kids, and they're old. Verse 8. One day Zechariah was doing his work as a priest in the temple, taking his turn in the daily service. According to the customs followed by the priest, he was chosen by lot to burn incense on the altar. So he went into the temple of the Lord. While the crowd of people outside prayed during the hour when the incense were burned, an angel of the Lord appeared to him, standing at the right side of the altar where the incense were burned. When Zacharias saw him, he was alarmed and felt afraid. But the angel said to him, "Don't be afraid, Zachariah. God has heard your prayer, and your wife Elizabeth will bear a son. You are to name him John. How glad and happy he will be, and how happy many others will be when he is born. John will be great in the Lord's sight. He must not drink any wine or strong drink. From his very birth, he will be filled with the Holy Spirit. And he will bring back many of the people of Israel to the Lord their God. He will go ahead of the Lord, strong and mighty like the prophet Elijah. He will bring fathers and children together again. He will turn disobedient people back to the way of thinking of the righteous. He will get the Lord's people ready for him." Verse 18, Zacharias said to the angel, "How shall I know if this is so? I am an old man, and my wife is old also." This sounds familiar. It sounds like Abraham, remember? Sarah laughed, said, "I'm old." Remember? God said, "You laughed. Don't be laughing at me. I can do anything." Verse 19, "I am Gabriel," the angel answered. "I stand in the presence of God, who sent me to speak to you and tell you this good news. But you have not believed my message, which will come true at the right time. Because you have not believed me, you will be unable to speak. You will remain silent until the day my promise to you comes true." In the meantime, the people were waiting for Zechariah and wondered why he was spending such a long time in the temple. When he came out, he could not speak to them, and so they knew that he had seen a vision in the temple. Unable to say a word, he made signs to them with his hands. When his period of service in the temple was over, Zechariah went back home. Sometime later, his wife Elizabeth became pregnant and did not leave the house for 5 months. Now, at last, the Lord has helped me, she said. He has taken away my public disgrace. Okay. That's good news, right? That's good news. The old people couldn't have a baby. But God said, I have heard your prayer. You're going to have a son. Yes. And she got pregnant. Okay. Let's go to verse 57. The time came for Elizabeth to have her baby. And she gave birth to a son. Her neighbors and relatives heard how wonderfully good the Lord had been to her, and they all rejoiced with her. When the baby was a week old, they came to circumcise him, and they were going to name him Zechariah after his father. But his mother said, no, his name is to be John. They said to her, ooh, okay, she already, okay. They said to her, but you don't have any relatives with that name. Then they made signs to his father, asking him what name he would like the boy to have. Zechariah asked for a writing pad and wrote, his name is John. How surprised they all were. At that moment, Zechariah was able to speak again, and he started praising God. The neighbors were all filled with fear, and the news about these things spread throughout the whole country of Judea. Everyone who heard of it thought about it and asked, what is this child going to be? For it was plain that the Lord's power was upon him. So what do we see? We see Elizabeth had a baby. Zechariah, the angel Gabriel came to Zechariah, told him, you're gonna have a child. He didn't believe it. So he said, you're not gonna be able to talk until this baby is born, because you don't believe. See, it's better to believe. He said, I stand in the presence of God. You don't believe me? But they had a son, named him John. Yes. So, this is the one we saw earlier. There was a man named John. John was a miracle baby. John was a miracle baby.